I'm here with Dave Kushner, ViON's Director of Solution Sales, and we're continuing our conversation about cloud. Dave, we've talked a lot about cloud today, but one of the things we really haven't gotten into yet is some of the key considerations when you've made that decision. What do you really look to for when you're going to conduct that migration and move to the cloud environment?
So we really begin that process by asking our customers, what exactly are we trying to solve? What are we trying to address? What mission challenge do we have to address for you? Are there unique mandates to your organization that we need to take into account? Are there geographical storage requirements that we need to take into account? And also, do you plan to share the technology out to multiple organizations within your agency, or is it going to be dedicated to one? So there are a lot of things that you've got to understand before you even get into that cloud migration discussion. Next, it's real important to be able to define what you really need. For a lot of our organizations, maybe a platform as a service implementation is key for them because they want to accelerate application development or accelerate deployment of new capabilities. Other organizations want more of an infrastructure as a service implementation to really be able to directly maintain the storage and compute requirements that they have. Last but not least, organizations need to be able to determine whether they've got the right skill set on board or whether they may need to leverage outside resources from a cloud perspective. Overall, I think the key consideration here is to understand that one cloud does not fit all. Agencies can really have the flexibility with ViON's approach to adopt a hybrid cloud model. Allowing them to direct their application workload as appropriate. Some information, some data can be directed towards a public cloud. Other data may need to be secured and managed in a private cloud environment. So at ViON, we really do try to simplify the cloud procurement process. We try to help our organizations understand all of those requirements, and once we understand them, eliminate the need for RFIs and RFPs, really because we've already been able to select those vendors. We've put together the solutions. We've created a time to value approach. And as a result, we really can simplify the procurement process for them.
Talk a little bit about that procurement process, the vehicles that are available for cloud for our customers, so that they, when they've had that migration, they know they're going there, and we can make it easy for them to get to. What are some of those vehicles?
Absolutely. We're a prime on several key contracts. GSA, NIH-CIO, NASA SOUP, among others. But those are some of the key ones that our technology and our solutions are available to be able to procure this in an expedited fashion.
There's several issues that come up now that as customers do that migration to cloud, and sometimes they have some hesitancy around it before they even get there, and we can sum that up as risk aversion. There's things that create impediments to actually getting there. How can we help them through the perceived risk that cloud brings when I think as a matter of fact, right, cloud's another technology platform that's out there, it's being utilized, and there are plenty of examples of other agencies that are already there.
It's interesting because different agencies have different thresholds for risk, if you will. Mm-hmm. Some organizations, are not really concerned, frankly, enough about security and the type of data that they're trying to secure, and others, the lack of control or visibility over, their environment is unthinkable to them. So the stringent security requirements may seem like an impediment to being able to migrate to the cloud. But it's not a barrier to entry. There's certainly organizations that have different requirements, the regulations that they need to adhere to. Not only government agencies, but financial and services organizations, healthcare organizations with HIPAA compliance rules. Each of them have those concerns. So it's not one security compliance standard fits all. But with the right cloud technology and the right solution, there are automated tool sets that we have that will allow us to analyze data integrity, who's accessing the data, user authentication, and be able to protect that data and those applications while ensuring compliance. And that's something that ViON certainly takes to heart and ensures that we understand what it is these agencies or organizations are needing to adhere to before we diagnose, before we can prescribe, if you will. But overall, when it comes to security, you really have to maintain a balanced approach. There's some data that can certainly go to a public cloud and may never be accessed again. And certainly there's other data and applications that may need that stringent security requirements sitting in a private cloud, but I can still consume it as a service and be able to ensure that I have end user authentication. I have the capability to understand who is accessed to information, what are they doing, where are they taking it. In those environments, the on-premise private cloud is really the key technology, I think, to be able to adhere to those stringent security demands. You can certainly work with organizations to be able to, or organizations like ViON, to be able to understand those, which applications, which data can go to the public or private. But here at ViON, we're going to make sure that we both understand what your requirements are and ensure that data is protected across the entire data lifecycle.
Talk about that a little bit more, Dave, with the services required to get to the cloud, the services required to manage it, and then also help avoid some of those risks. What are some of the managed service offerings and professional service offerings that are available to help where customers want to procure that?
Well, at ViON, we try to understand what expertise the agency or the customer has, and where we can augment that expertise. Whether it's around the security aspects of migration of the data, what needs to go where, or whether it's around the managed professional services and augmenting of staff to be able to run some of these systems, or whether it's more along the lines of a remote managed service where we have capabilities that will allow us to monitor our organization, the customer organization's systems uptime, and allow them the peace of mind that all of these organizations are overburdened. So even though we may not have somebody on site, they have the comfort and the confidence that ViON's behind these systems, running them or managing them remotely, and ensuring that the systems, the applications, the protection of the data, is all inherent to their strategy. And we also have the capability to meet with them on a regular basis to be able to help them understand, whether it's weekly health reports or monthly health checks, to be help them understand where their systems are at, how much data growth have they seen, what type of new applications have been brought online, and to be able to ensure that not only they're being managed correctly and system uptime is ensured, but the data is protected.
All right. Well, thanks, Dave. Appreciate your time talking to us about cloud today.
On behalf of ViON Corporation and Hitachi Data Systems Federal, thank you for joining us. A link to the archive session will be sent to you shortly. If you requested a training certificate, you will also receive an email with download instructions after the webinar. This concludes our discussion. Thank you.